All right, let's dive in. Today, we are tackling a huge idea, something that might just change how you see, well, everything and everyone. We're talking about the spectrum of shared consciousness.
You know, we all walk around feeling like we're the star of our own movie, right? Trapped inside our own heads, experiencing the world from a single point of view. But is that the whole story? Is that feeling of being separate really all there is? Or could we be, I don't know, nodes in some kind of vast, interconnected network?
So to really get our heads around this, we're going to go on a kind of journey. Think of it like zooming out. We're going to start with the real tangible stuff, the forces that hold our societies together. Then we'll dive a little deeper into the blueprint of the human mind itself. And finally, we're going to zoom way out to the very fabric of the cosmos. It's going to be a trip.
Okay, first up, we're starting with the most grounded, most concrete idea on our spectrum, what we're calling the social glue. You know, the stuff that holds us all together.
So this idea really got its start with a sociologist named Émile Durkheim. He had this concept he called the collective consciousness. And it's basically all the shared beliefs, the gut feelings, the moral compass that pretty much everyone in the society agrees on. It's that invisible force, that social glue that keeps a community from falling apart. The wild thing is, it exists outside of any single person, but it totally shapes how every one of us thinks and acts.
But here's the thing, Durkheim knew this social glue isn't a one-size-fits-all deal. It changes as society changes. He saw two main types. First, you've got mechanical solidarity. This is what you find in older traditional societies where almost everyone is the same. They have the same jobs, the same beliefs, they're connected by their likeness. But then you get to modern society and it's totally different. We have organic solidarity. We're not all the same anymore. We're all specialists, doctors, coders, farmers, and we're connected because we're different. We need each other to survive. It's a connection based on interdependence.
All right, so that's the shared mind out there in society. But what if there's also a shared blueprint in here, inside each of us? So for our next step, let's zoom in from the social world and take a look at the internal landscape of our own minds.
And this brings us to a really famous idea from the psychologist Carl Jung, the collective unconscious. Now, Jung's theory was that our mind is kind of like an iceberg. The part above the water is our personal, conscious mind. Below that is our personal unconscious, our own memories and forgotten stuff. But he believed there was a much, much deeper layer, shared by everyone. This isn't stuff you learn from your life. It's stuff you inherit. It's like a psychological blueprint that all humans are born with. Now, it's super important we don't mix these two up. They sound similar, but they're really different. Think about it like this. Durkheim's collective consciousness is like the software of a society. It's external, we're mostly aware of it, it's the shared rules and norms we all live by. Jung's collective unconscious, on the other hand, that's like the deep, ancient operating system of the mind itself. It's internal, it's inherited, and it's running way, way down in the background, totally beneath our conscious awareness.
So what's actually in this collective unconscious? Well, Jung said it's filled with what he called archetypes. These are basically universal patterns or symbols. You've got things like the shadow, which is our dark side, all those impulses we try to suppress, or the self, which is the goal of wholeness, of integrating everything. These archetypes are the reason why myths, fairy tales, and even our dreams from all over the world seem so familiar, why every culture has a hero, a trickster, a wise old man. They're bubbling up from the same shared source.
Okay, you with me? Because now we're about to take our biggest leap yet. We're zooming out, past society, past the individual mind, all the way out to a massive philosophical idea, the concept of a single cosmic consciousness.
And what's crazy is, this idea is not new, not at all. It's ancient, and it's global. You see it popping up everywhere. The ancient Greeks had nous, this idea of a cosmic mind ordering everything. Plato talked about a world soul. In the Hindu Upanishads, there's Brahman, the ultimate single reality behind everything. I mean, look at this timeline. You have different cultures, separated by oceans and thousands of years, all independently coming to the same incredible conclusion, that on some deep, fundamental level, everything is connected. All is one.
This quote from the Zen master Wang Po just hits you over the head with it, doesn't it? All the Buddhas and all sentient beings are nothing but the one mind, besides which nothing exists. Whoa. The idea here is what they call non-dualism, and it's a radical one. It's not saying we're just part of some bigger mind. It's saying we are that one mind. And this whole feeling of being a separate me, well, that's the grand illusion.
Okay, so we've gone from sociology to psychology to ancient philosophy. You might be thinking,
This is all fascinating, but what does modern science have to say? Well, it turns out even science is starting to bump up against these ancient ideas of deep connection.
And that brings us to maybe one of the weirdest and most mind-bending discoveries in all of physics: quantum entanglement. The gist is this: you can link two tiny particles together, and once they're linked, they are forever connected. It doesn't matter if you separate them by an inch or by a billion light years. The instant you measure one particle, you know exactly what the state of the other one is. Instantly. It's bizarre.
I mean, this was so weird that it completely freaked out Albert Einstein. He couldn't wrap his head around it. He famously called it spooky action at a distance. And that phrase just nails it, right? It seems to break the rules of the universe as we know them, defying our normal ideas about space and time.
Now, hold on. Let's be really clear here. We're not saying people are subatomic particles, but we are finding real, physical ways our minds can connect. Check this out. Neuroscientists have found that when two people are really locked in a good conversation, their brain waves can actually start to synchronize. Literally, it's a measurable, physical thing. It's the real-life version of that feeling of being on the same wavelength, a tangible sign of two minds clicking together.
And this is where we have to tread carefully, right? Is your brain a quantum computer? Is that what's happening? Look, that idea is highly speculative right now. There's not a lot of proof. But what quantum entanglement does give us is an incredible new metaphor. It provides a modern, scientific language for talking about that deep, profound sense of interconnectedness that mystics and philosophers have been trying to describe for thousands of years. It helps us wrap our minds around a reality that might be, at its core, fundamentally connected.
So, look where we've been. We started with the social glue that binds us. We dove into the psychological blueprint we all share. We explored ancient philosophies of a single cosmic mind, and we even touched on the bizarre interconnectedness of the quantum world. At every single level, from society to the psyche to physics, the story seems to be about connection. And so that leaves us with one last big, lingering question. What if that core feeling we all have, that deep-seated belief that I am a separate self, what if that's the one great illusion?